So welcome in, grab a book, settle in. I'm the pervy, nerdy librarian, Nessa. Today's Paper Cuts is episode 17, I do believe. This is the portion of my segment where I'm not going to be able to pay very much attention to chat, so I'm going to be depending very heavily on my mods. Mel the Music Man and Mass Moon is here today as well, so we're going to have a good time. This is going to be a short episode, but it's still going to be exciting. I love Thursdays. Thursdays are my favorite days. Thursdays are either between the pages, which is where I have book discussions, or I have storytelling hour, or however long I can stand to read out loud. And then every other Thursday is Paper Cuts, and Paper Cuts is what happens whenever I have a creative prompt that I pose to my community and anyone in my community on Discord, so !Discord. You should also be able to find the Discord invite in the link for YouTube, so !YouTube. Yes, so what I do is I pose a creative prompt for my entire community, and you have about a week and a half to 2 weeks to work on a submission, and I exhibit it here. So you can write a story, a poem, a prose piece, you can paint a picture, you can take a picture, you can do a video. We've had weaving, we've had crochet, we've had so many different mediums, and I want to see what your work is. So please feel free to join the Parchment Mites. Today is episode 17, like I said, and our creative prompt for this week was, what is your perfect date? Now for this, pretty much anyone could do anything that they wanted to do. And like I said, we only have 3 submissions this week, but I'm sure they're amazing. They're all going to be blind, obviously, except for mine. I did actually get a submission in, and we have 2 writing and 1 picture montage. So let's say we get into this. Episode 17, what is your perfect date? Our very first submission comes to us by Freelance7. Freelance7 typically does writing and is excellent. Absolutely excellent. I look forward to reading Freelance's work every time Freelance happens to make a submission. So grab a book, settle in. Here we go. Submission by Freelance7. Aqua blue sky, verdant green grass, a wind that barely blew past the ear. Why are we here, Perry? The voice of a young man asked, the sounds of grass crunching underfoot as 2 of them ascended the side of a rather smooth hill. Secret, Perry replied, giving the other his signature smug grin. One that told everything and more lies hidden beyond those curved lips. Though it made him look like a fox to his partner, he was a handsome fox. The wrinkles cleft into his cheeks, complementing his darker complexion, and made his striking light green eyes kinder. Despite the charm, Perry's partner scoffed at the man's covert nature. He always liked to give surprises, even if it wasn't appreciated. This better be a good one. Oh, you'll see, Perry teased, a hint of amusement behind his tone as they crested the hill, giving their eyes a spectacular view of a gorgeous field. The same green they saw as they ascended the hill was all they could see for miles on end. Off in the distance, dark gray mountains provided the only contrast in color between the grass and the sky. Wow. It's beautiful. Perry smiled at the sight. Took me a bit to find the perfect spot, but I'd say it's worth it, he said, taking the large blanket he held in the crook of his arm and spreading it out wide. Perfect for what? You'll see, Resna, he said, taking the parasol from his partner and stabbing it into the ground before beginning to set it up. Resna rolled his eyes as he sat down on the blanket, putting the basket aside as he waited for Perry to open the parasol up. It wasn't long before it flew open wide, showering them in pleasant shadow that shielded them from the bright sun at its zenith. An audible sigh of relief from Perry as he dropped his rear on the soft blanket surface, supporting his upper body with his arms so he could survey the beauteous landscape before him. Now this is just great, he said, turning to Resna with a smile softer than his previous grin. Resna cocked an eyebrow, glancing about. So, is this the surprise you hyped up so much? Not that I'm complaining. I love spending time with you and all, but you talked of it with such grandeur. I was expecting the world. Perry scoffed and shook his head, the fringes of his dark blue hair swinging side to side. Not yet, he said, reaching into the basket to pull from it an apple, biting deeply into it with a heavy crunch. Gotta wait a bit longer. How much longer? He chuckled, swallowing before holding up his arm to check his watch. Soon, if everything goes to plan. In fact... Perry fell silent as if expecting something to come. But nothing happened. Just the slight breeze and far-off songs of birds. A pleasant stillness despite the expectation of something more. Perry's brow raised slightly, concerned but still waiting with patience, unlike his partner. As Resna was about to speak up once more, he noticed a gigantic shadow pass over the comparably smaller one that they inhabited. His blond brow furrowing, he slowly looked up, beyond the rim of the parasol. What he saw made his purple eyes widen. Way above them, casting more and more shadow as they passed, was a massive flock of wyverns. Large creatures, cousin to long-forgotten dragons, the slow movements of their vast wings carrying them further across the perfect blue sky. Alongside them flew their offspring, flying about with more flourish as they enjoyed the wide-open sky. From where the two were sitting, Resna could see the shine of their scales. Red, green, blue, and more shimmered in the ever-glowing wake of the sun. A dazzling spectacle of colors, almost like rainbows after a heavy rain. They reflected beautifully in the beholder's eyes. By the gods, Resna gasped, the entire sight enamoring him. He was lost in it, his heart swirling with many warm emotions that he almost felt too weak to bear. And there it is, Perry said, taking another smug bite of the apple. I tried my best to line it up with their migration, so I had to look into a lot of... Perry was interrupted by the heavy weight that flopped onto his thighs. Looking down, brows raised, he saw Resna lying his head upon his lap, looking out at the field and watching the wyverns fly over it, their immense shadows being cast upon the bright green fields. A chuckle escaped from his throat as he leaned back slightly, observing the wyvern migration in progress with his boyfriend. A moment in time he wouldn't give up for anything in the world. Just perfect. Oh my gosh. Wow. Freelance, are you sure that you weren't trying to you sure you weren't trying to make my perfect date in this? Oh my gosh. Freelance, you made it! Did you make it just in time for the end? I just finished yours. Oh my god. So beautiful. Oh my god. That was absolutely perfect. That was absolutely perfect. Wow. I can't even. I can't. Ah, it is so beautiful, and like I'm tearing up because like I can picture every second. I can picture the grass. I can picture how they both look. I can even picture the wyverns. I can. Wow. Ah, that was so beautiful, and thank you for that. Oh my gosh. Yes, they were excellent descriptions. Oh my god. That was the most thoughtful. Oh my gosh. I love how much that Perry, how much thought he put into that. I love that so much, and like exactly, Mel. It came alive, and you could feel it, and you could smell it, and you could hear it, and it was gorgeous. Absolutely perfect. Your writing is incredible, Freelance. Your writing is so amazing. I can't. I always look forward to your work. I really always do. And thank you so much for that. That was beautiful, and I loved every second of that. Oh my gosh. I love how much that the your characters know each other, and how Perry made it perfect for Resna. And it was beautiful and wonderful, and oh my gosh, I could just go on and on about how much I love that. Uh, so suffice to say, I'm blown away yet again. Your work, impossibly wonderful. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next submission. Like I said, there's only 3, so we just finished the first. We're going on to our second submission, and the submission is by Midnight Animal. Midnight Animal promised me that we would hear more. Thank you for the shout out, Mel. We would hear more about Ed. Ed was a character that he created from his previous submission, and we're gonna see what Ed's perfect date is going to be like. Ed opened his eyes, and below him he saw a moonlit hill that contained a small cemetery. Oh, I already like this. And some open space at the top. He was confused by this. Why was he floating? But then he saw a familiar truck trundled up to the top of the hill. It occurred to Ed that he was dreaming. Ed watched the truck come to a stop outside the gate of the cemetery. Ed saw himself get out of the truck and move to the back and retrieve a thick blanket. This was not a dream, Ed thought. It was a memory. Ed recalled the night fondly and decided to keep watching. Ed watched himself set the blanket out in the clearing at the top of the hill and then sat on it. He watched himself stare up at the night sky, trying to count stars, if memory served him right. A short while later, a small car pulled up next to the truck, and a dark-haired woman stepped out and joined Ed on the blanket. It was a cool night, Ed thought. Just chill enough to leave your skin feeling fresh, like it was breathing in the night air too. Ed and the woman sat there together for a long time, staring up into space, sharing details of the day prior, talking about the circumstances of life. Ed was younger here, maybe in his 20s. The dark-haired woman was about the same age as him. They were just kids. Looking to the moon to escape the frightening new world that waited for them. Ed was content to watch the night play out with this memory. This was a memory he enjoyed deeply. It was their first date. Ed was broke and couldn't really afford to take her out anywhere, but he did have this hill to share with her. This hill meant a lot to Ed. His parents were buried at the cemetery here, and he always felt like it was a safe place for him. Comfortable, a quiet, somber place he could go to get a breather from the world below. A place he did not feel like he was constantly fighting with to keep his head above water. Serene. Ed watched as he took the woman into his arms. Ed smiled, his heart breaking with joy and distress, having the knowledge that this night was the beginning of a life together with that woman. A life that would be great and terrible, as most lives are. Ed would be with that woman for a very long time, until it was time for her to be interred at this very place. For now, though, Ed could enjoy this time, watching the two of them sit and talk about the problems they had, what their plans were, and knowing that none of those plans would pan out because tonight changed everything for them. The hill began to fade into darkness, and Ed was alone in the dark again. He smiled, thankful for the memory. Ed closed his eyes, or at least he thought he was closing his eyes. Midnight. We've known each other a long, long time. Can you explain to me why I didn't know that you were so talented at writing? Can you explain this to me? Also, while we're at it, Midnight and Freelance, you guys have some explaining to do. Do you guys just like... Do we all have the same taste in like dates? Or like you guys just like are in my head? In like how perfect dates go, because these are amazing. Like both of these are dates I would thoroughly enjoy. And yeah, that was amazing. Gosh, Midnight, why are you so talented? Why Freelance, why are you guys so talented? Why? I don't know why I keep asking why, but like you guys are amazing, the both of you. I am in awe every single time we do this. You guys just show me more and more how talented everyone in my community is. And I couldn't be happier that I get to showcase and exhibit your guys' talents. Because your imagination, your talent, your skill, your craft, your techniques, everything is amazing. I can't even say that I've watched you guys really grow. Like there are a few people who I've watched you guys blossom in your writing, and it's beautiful and wonderful, and I love it. I think Totem, I've watched him and his cinematography and his editing skills flourish, and that has been beautiful. And then there are those of you who are just already mega talented, and you're just in here like, oh, here, I'm gonna share this, and I'm just like, ah. Does Animal have numbers in their name? I want to shout them out. I'm not all that certain, actually. So, you can look up Midnight Animal. I don't really know if they have numbers. I'm sorry. I think they're sleeping. They work night shift, so they'll catch the VOD later. But we'll get that sorted out later, Mel. But yeah, you guys are insanely talented. I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I've got no feedback whatsoever other than just like slack jaw awe going on. So thank you guys for that. Yeah, I don't even want to share mine because mine's compared to your guys's, mine is just damn. How about no? I'm gonna assume you guys want me to share it though. You guys want to see my perfect date? I did this last night, so it was a lot of fun. You want me to share? You want me to share? You want me to read it? It's not even a read! Guys, it's not even a read. I didn't write anything. You guys want to know what I did? You guys want to know? Here we go. I made a slideshow. You guys want to see my face while I do this, or you want me to, like, leave it off? Okay. Hi, guys. Yes, so this is a date with Nessa. Share her hair and troll. Okay, I'm sharing. Okay, so no, I'm not doing big face. I gotta do this so you guys can see it. So this is a representation of a perfect date for me. I obviously planned this for myself. This is something that I wanted to do, and I went and I did it. So you guys ready for a date with Nessa? Oh goodness. There we go. Oh no. Okay, so the outfit. If you guys remember, this is what I was wearing yesterday. This is exactly what I was wearing. I hate how baggy that sweater is on me, but yeah, this is the outfit. This is my Yule tree and my bouquet of cedar branches. Let's go ahead and move on to the hair. I did my hair. I did my hair for my date. This is all gonna make sense in a minute, I swear. And yes, I took this picture. I took this picture, and the other pictures in here were taken of me. So. The shoes. You guys know I love shoes. Boom. This shoes. The location. This is one of my favorite wooded paths that I like to either walk or ride my bike. So in case you guys didn't know, and you hadn't gathered by now, my perfect date is going to look a lot like this. It's going to be outside. There are going to be trees involved in some manner. And outside is nice. I like going for walks in the moonlight, in the trees, and I want to know, would you follow me or take me by the hand? So yeah, this is very much my perfect date. Ta-da! This is my first time not like writing something, I think. And I think it shows as well. Yeah, I think that was sweet. Thank you. I think it shows that this is my first time not writing something. I have zero experience. It also shows that I did that last night and this morning. So yeah, I love stuff like that. Like most of my favorite things to do are outside. I think we talked about it before. One of my very favorite first dates. It was like an inadvertent thing, really. We set out to go somewhere. We were gonna go pick up some food, right? And we had no. So earlier that day, we had gone to the nature station, and that was already perfect. And then we were like, oh, we're really hungry. So we were gonna go get some food that they had never had before. And it was like a couple towns over. And we're like, you know what? We don't have anywhere else to be. Let's go on an adventure. It was very Took like. But we went there and we couldn't find it. We couldn't find it because it was in a town that neither of us was familiar with, and we couldn't find the place that we were looking for. So we ended up at another place, another fast food place, and we just had so much fun getting up there. And then we were eating in the car, and we were jamming out, and then we drove back, and it was great. Um, Being outside. It, I've been on big fancy dates, and sure, I like to dress up like head to toe, formal wear every now and then, like maybe once or maybe twice a year. I will dress up very formally, and it will be fun. It will be fun. But man, can I not wait to get out of it. And let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. If ever I go on a formal date, like where I have to wear a fancy dress and high heels, if I ever go out like that, that date had better end up where I have kicked my high heels off and I am running barefoot in the grass. That is where that date had better end. Or else you're probably not going to have another date with me. But yeah, I love that all of our submissions were not fancy and were not high pressure. They were all very intimate, and they were outside. Sorry, I'm having to turn the gain back up because I've got the yard people. Anyway, so I loved these. These were great. Fancy can suck. Don't like pretending. I mean, dressing up every now and then is great. But if I dress up, okay, so like my ideal for dressing up is actually you don't take me somewhere fancy. What you can do though is have me dress up and dress up with me, obviously. Dress up. And we go like a secluded outdoor spot. Nick it, or there can be a table, I don't care. And then it just be the two of us outside, looking all fancy, maybe dancing. Car radios. um, yeah. I'm sorry. I thought that this was gonna be um kind of vapid. I kind of thought that this prompt was gonna be pretty like on the surface, something basic, but this prompt has really evoked some emotions with me. There are just so many great things that you can do without like spending a ton of money and going somewhere you don't really want to be or somewhere you're uncomfortable. So this was beautiful, and this was amazing, and I loved this exercise. I think I loved it more like reading everybody else's stuff and knowing that we're not really realistic people, I think. I don't know how else to say. But it makes me happy, and I had a good time. So thank you, freelance. Thank you, Midnight Animal. Thank you, everyone, for listening to our perfect dates. I had a lot of fun, and I'm having a lot of fun discussing this. So that's a plus. Oh, I appreciate you guys so much. So for those of you that missed it last week, I have already announced the next creative prompt for episode 18. We're going to be doing a rewind. So what a rewind is for Paper Cuts creative prompt is any prompt that we've had before, you can go back and redo a submission you've already done, or you can do a prompt that you might have missed. Um, I do owe you guys a prompt, and I believe the one that I owe you guys is what brings you joy. So that is the one that I will be working on. Again, it's going to be a different format than what I'm accustomed to doing. So let's see how that goes. um, other than that, thank you guys so much for being here. We're going to get into some gameplay. I'm not even sure what that game is going to be yet, but I'm going to throw up a BRB. I'm going to get ready and I will see you guys soon. I see you. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I can't wait for our next paper cuts and between the pages.